Hello YouTube and welcome to RITF Gaming. This is a new season of the RITF Rant that we did a while back. Obviously that was predominantly something that Joe did. But I thought that I would revamp this series by describing something that I've been asked by a lot of people, which is, why do I, an 18-year-old person, play games that are older than me for the most part? Or, to put it in a less clunky way, why do I play retro? Which I think is a fair point, so I guess I'd like to describe that. So I started playing games when I was about 8 years old, which is a bit later than most people that I know. So maybe I'm just overcompensating by having 200 games. I don't know. But one of the first games I ever played was Sensible World of Soccer. In fact, I think it was probably the first game I ever played. And I loved that thing. I mean, that was a great game. It was hard as nails. I lost like 10-0 every time I played, but it was brilliant. It was on the Commodore Amiga 1200, which is something I had as a kid as well. Where often I played it for about a year and a half, I think. And then my dad bought a new PC for the time. So when I was about 9 or 10, I think it must have been closer to 10, I got given a PC tower. Because unfortunately back then, as I've mentioned before in my other RITF Rant, that I was a PC gamer back in the day, or computer gaming, obviously, with the Amiga and all. So I played that, and I loved that as well. I played Wolfenstein, Return to Castle Wolfenstein, sorry, not Wolfenstein 3D, which was great fun. I played Age of Empires, The Sims. I loved The Sims. It was a brilliant game. Obviously, that was the original, but there was no other Sims games at the time. It was The Sims. Now there's 4. I can't get over that. But anyway, so I enjoyed that for a bit, and then I think there was the second, say, because the first would have been the Amiga, that was, the changing point, and the second one would have been the PlayStation 1, which I have one of them here. This is my broken one that doesn't work anymore because I dropped it. Whoops. But I think the second turning point for me, or the second reason I played retro, was because of the PlayStation 1, and the PlayStation 1 just changed everything for me. Because ordinarily, I had to sit there, with the Amiga, you either had to work out like 4 or 5 discs that you'd probably need, and you'd sit there for about 5 minutes waiting for the thing to load, and you'd play it with a joystick, one button kind of thing. And then the PC was a massive keyboard and a mouse. And this changed everything up for me, the PlayStation, because it was a games console, and I didn't know what that really was. I mean, I was sort of sure I'd seen my dad's PS2, and I played a couple of games on that, mostly just Tony Hawk. But other than that, I didn't really understand what it was all about. And so to have my very own was incredibly exciting. I mean, the graphics took a hit back from the PC, because this was a more powerful PC. This was like 2003, 2004, something like that. And it must have been about, wow, the PC was anyway. So I must have been about 11 when I got the PlayStation. I loved it. I mean, one of my favourite games was Tomb Raider. I also loved Wipeout, Atlantis: The Lost Empire, which is actually kind of good, and Toka Touring Cars 2, which is a surprisingly realistic driving game, or a racing game, considering it's on the PS1. And I loved that, and I still love it to this day. I mean, I've got like about 100 games for the thing, and I need more memory cards desperately. In fact, really now, I guess I'm starting to get into my PlayStation stride. A lot of the games that I own, I bought myself, like Metal Gear Solid, Resident Evil 1 and 2, and I guess one of the games that really got me into it though was Tomb Raider. Again, I seem to pick games that are as hard as nails to play, but Tomb Raider was one of my favourites, and I still to this day consider it in my top 10 list for favourite games of all time, which actually now I think about it might be a good idea for a video. So my love of the PlayStation was my second reason. My third reason, I think, went beyond that, because after the PS1 I got a PS2, after the PS2 I bought an Xbox 360, but I must have been about 15 at the time, so this was about 2 or 3 years ago. And so about these 3 years ago I got an iPod Touch for Christmas, and one of the things of course I wanted at the time was to have YouTube, because I'd never really had that before. I was always a bit behind in that sense. So nothing's changed really. But so I always wanted that, and so I had this thing, and there was this guy, and I was just flicking through, and I didn't really know what was what, and there was this guy called James Rolfe. Of course, everyone is now going, oh, right, yeah, the angry video game nerd. But before I go further, I didn't actually watch the Angry Video Game Nerd himself. I watched him as James Rolfe. I discovered the Angry Video Game Nerd, of course, through James Rolfe and Cinemassacre.com, etc. But I watched this video, and it changed everything again for me. And that was, I think, it was a massive... This is change number 3, was the discovery that there was more to gaming than Sony, Microsoft. There was Sega and Nintendo. Like, obviously, I knew Nintendo existed anyway, and Sega I knew were games, but I didn't know Sega made proper consoles until now. I really didn't know much until a couple of years ago, and I guess I made up for it now. I know loads. I could be a historian on gaming. I don't think that's a good thing to say. But no, I didn't know this existed until I saw Sega Genesis versus Super Nintendo. I saw that series, and I loved it. It changed my perception. These games look freaking awesome. You had like Contra Hardcore, you had Sonic, F-Zero, Star Fox. The music was brilliant. Final Fantasy 3, which is 6, etc. This was an amazing thing for me. Once again, this had just changed the scope of my understanding. I'd broadened my horizon. I'd seen this really awesome thing, and I saw the Mega Drive of all things, or obviously the Genesis, and I pointed that and I said, I want one of those. I want one of those. The games look badass. And to this day, look at me. I mean, I'm ready to defend the Mega Drive whenever. I love it. It's over there, and I love this thing. But I got the Mega Drive eventually. But what I did is I got the At Games Mega Drive, mostly because it was compatible with Japanese, US, and English games. Although I didn't know at the time that most Mega Drives could do that up until about '93 anyway. And it could run through AV. It was cheap. It was about £43. You could buy it new from Argos, and I thought that was the most amazing thing at the idea at the time. So I got a day off school once when it was snowing, and I think this is probably reason number 4 on its own. This is probably one of the biggest reasons, actually, is because it was snowing. I had a paper round. I wanted to go to Argos to get this games console, but this was in Eastleigh, which for me is about 3 miles away. And I had to get back and out there, and for some dumb reason I didn't just say, hey Mum, I'm going to go pick up this thing. I knew she wouldn't let me anyway. Obviously I was still fairly juvenile at the stage. I was about 15. No, I would have been 14 at this point, I think. 14, 15 anyway. And so I walked all the way. So I started doing my paper round, and I walked so quickly. I was just listening to Michael Jackson, and that's, for some reason, remains relevant to me. I don't know. Anyway, so I was little power walking in the snow to Eastleigh, and power walking all the way back. I just remember littering out this change on the counter of Argos and going, I want a Mega Drive. I got home, and after all that, I didn't like it, because the first game I played was Alex Kidd in the Enchanted Castle, or something like that. I thought it was rubbish. But then I played Virtua Fighter. I started playing Sonic Spinball, Shinobi, Shadow Dancer as I call it. I didn't know it was part of the Shinobi series. And I thought that was amazing after that. And they started picking up, and obviously I got more games. I got like John Madden Football, EA Hockey, I got Sonic, I lost my cat, I do apologise, etc. And I loved those games. And eventually I guess that just came together. And I think it was that kind of romantic, sort of, not romantic in the literal sense, but there's a kind of amazing journey, like you were literally going and coming back in the snow, and it just felt so special to go get a Mega Drive like that. And I guess that's probably reason number 4 why I play retro games. Number 5 was this. Reason number 5, I would say, was probably the Sega Dreamcast. The Sega Dreamcast was obviously a games console that I had at the time, kind of. When I was about 11, I got this thing out, tried to hook it up. I was an absolute idiot and tried plugging the power cord into the power slot on the back of my TV, because it had the power cord thing. I don't know what I was thinking at the time. I was clearly more of a retard than I am now, which says a lot, by the way. But anyway, so I was watching this kid. As a kid, I was trying to hook this thing up, and it was just amazing, because obviously I didn't know it was made by Sega at the time, even though it says on the front. I never looked at that. I'd never registered. I loved that thing. I thought it was amazing, despite the fact I'd never so much as powered it up. And one day I did. And I thought it was amazing. It was brilliant. I was about 15. Again, it was hot as hell. I've been working this thing out for about ages. There's my phone, to apologise. And I was just wowed by the Dreamcast. because it was something new. It was something I'd wanted again for years. Sega were quite a big thing for me about retros, and I guess you could kind of call that reason number 6. Because Sega were a massive thing for me as far as revelations as retro goes, which was really awesome. So the sad part is, though, I had to go up into my loft to play this game because the TV was up there, like a big CRT TV I had when I was about 11. And on the way down, I dropped my Dreamcast and it hit the metal ladder. It broke. I was devastated. I was utterly devastated. and ever since that point, I have always wanted the Sega Dreamcast. And eventually I did get it. And it's in my drawer here. Honestly, I can't be bothered to really get it all out and shuffle it around. I don't know what time it is for you guys. It's about 20 past 9 for me. I don't want to make too much noise, that sort of thing. I got like Shenmue and Sonic Adventure. And I love the Dreamcast. Jet Set Radio is my favourite game. Then Crazy Taxi. And probably Shenmue. But that was probably reason number 5 and 6. It was Sega on the whole could be, summarised by 4 and 5. After that, I guess it's hard to say, because I think that's the last of the real reasons. I think if I had to add on number 7, it would probably be my love of the collecting side, because the first thing I ever properly bought was the Atari Jaguar, and obviously you've seen my videos, or if you haven't, then do check them out. I've reviewed the Atari Jaguar over a 2-part series. I got a whole bunch of cool games for that. I got like Alien vs Predator, Kasumi Ninja, Doom, Tempest 2000. Love that game. And I think that was really when I started to get into the idea of how cool collecting was, because I got some really, really awesome bargains. In fact, there is one I do want to show you guys, which is probably, I consider to this day, my number 1 gaming bargain. And that was this copy of Doom on the Atari Jaguar. Now, obviously it's in the box, there's a manual, everything, the cartridge is in very good condition. And I bought this off of Amazon, for a grand total of £9.32. For £9.32, I was expecting the cartridge only, and the fact that I was happy to pay that, expecting cartridge only, says it all. So this game, I found, is probably worth more to £50 to £60 in this condition. So I was dead chuffed, and I consider to this day, this epitomises my love of collecting, because you can just jump on this amazing opportunity. Like I got Mike Tyson's Punch-Out for like 15 quid. I thought that was amazing. But this is one of the reasons I love retro so much. And I think the fact is that for me they're cheaper. I can budget out for a games console. I can buy a games console every month, and I pretty much have. I have about 10 or 11, 10 games consoles. And the Jaguar just started it all off. That was my first true retro games console, and a lot of people are sort of like, why? The Jaguar's rubbish, but I love it. And I guess that kind of does it for me, and for now, it just feels so good. It doesn't feel like they're going anywhere. Like new games, especially for the PC, like, my roots are in PC, and a lot of people might be surprised to that, because I defend consoles to the teeth. But I have my roots in PC gaming, and I just feel like that's never something I could go back to again, because the PC elitism is all about having that graphical edge on everyone else, and I just don't care for graphics. I don't give a shit. I have an Atari 2600, for goodness sake. I'm not gonna care. I guess that kind of summarised it, but it was the joy, the excitement of getting like the Mega Drive, of getting the Jaguar, of discovering this whole history of one of my favourite pastimes that made me want to be that. And that, I guess, is probably the best reason why I love retro games consoles. If you're still here after that 15-minute rant, or so, about 14, but if you're still here after that, then kudos to you for my little outpouring of my equivalent of nostalgia. I do apologise that I sort of waffled on for so long, but thank you for watching this RITF Rant. I mean, I'm going to take this more places than just me talking about why I play retro games, but it's a question that quite a few people have asked me, so that's Alex, Leanne, Jamie, my girlfriend, Joe, Adam, Dylan, Anthony, Sam, Wes, etc. I mean, that's just the people I can think of off the top of my head. Tom, hi Tom. So effectively, yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know this is why I play retro games. There you have it. And for anyone that ever wants to know, like, I don't know, I believe I have a couple of guys who are about 30 or so who check out my videos and are a bit confused as to why an 18-year-old is playing retro. That's why. So, thanks very much for watching, guys. I mean, the next video I plan it's a bit loose. It's a RITF Rant. I might make it as into a different series, and I'll let you more know about that. So if you follow the Google Plus, by the way, I'm now the administrator, and I'm taking this pretty seriously. So I'm on it every day. I'm checking it. I post up. I'll be posting like some really cool stuff, I like to think. Anyway, like I'll be posting new content that we're planning. I'll be posting updates instead of the really dodgy quality video you might have seen earlier on the channel, which I just did on a selfie type thing from my tablet, and my tablet's not very good for that. But my tablet, and that kind of thing. So one of the best places, and I don't discourage you from checking out our other social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Tumblr, all of which are probably going to be on the screen about now. There's sort of little things to type in on those. But one of the things was that my Google Plus is probably going to be the one that's going to have the most action going on in it. But do check out our other social media. Also, if you like the video, check out some of my more. I'm not asking you to subscribe just on this one video, because that would be a bit silly. It's not reflective really of what the channel does. But if you want to subscribe, again, I'm not putting you off. Please do. It'd be great. Like and comment. If you have a similar experience or a different one, then sure, let me know. It'd be fantastic to hear from some of you guys as to what you guys like. Not so much about retro gaming, perhaps, but about gaming in general. I think that pretty much summarises it. There's a whole bunch of things, anyway, that will be going up on Google+, will be going up on the channel. We're preparing for some really awesome stuff. Really, really awesome. There's going to be huge changes. I'm finally getting a proper microphone. I've worked out how to screen capture everything properly. I've finally worked out how we've recorded the RF I've managed to so far. So there'll be no more bad Joe Montana-style videos like I did in episode 9. Check out my series, which is Retro RITF, if you like console and video gaming reviews. If you like some mad stuff, check out our Valentine's special, where we look at the hottest girls in gaming that we would go out with. A whole bunch of cool stuff like that. It'd be awesome if you checked this out a bit more. Like, subscribe, that sort of jazz. Only if you want to. There's no pressuring people, because people will be more willing to if you don't feel like you're pressuring them too much. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you so much for checking out our channel. And take it easy, whether you be retro gamer or no. Enjoy gaming. Happy gaming indeed.